Hello and welcome to the fresh new episode of Students' Time, your weekly update on what's happening in the field of education, politics, economics, business, entertainment, science, technology, research and innovation. I am Diksha Shinde, your host for this week. From the highlights of Tata Motors' new initiative with DYPIU International University, Akurdi, Pune, to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's push for sustainable clothing, we have a lot in store for you in this episode of Students' Time. So, let's have a look at the headlines. In a bid to promote greener non-polluting electric vehicles, the DYPIU International University, Akurdi, Pune has launched a unique program in collaboration with Tata Motors. Prime Minister Narendra Modi wore a blue vest made of recycled plastic bottles in Parliament, which endorsed sustainable clothing to save the environment. India's first hybrid rocket launched from Tamil Nadu's Pattipulam, where more than 5,000 students from grade 6 to 12 in different parts of the country were enabled to design and develop 150 pico satellites. And an exclusive interview of Anil P. Agrawal, an engineering graduate from the University of California, Berkeley and founder of Edify Online. And now, the news in detail. Let us start with a unique initiative of the DYPIU. The Indian automobile industry is constantly evolving with a rapid shift towards electric vehicles. With such fast-changing technologies and market conditions, DYPIU took an initiative for providing high-quality educational programs in electric vehicles to the employees of Tata Motors. To know more about this initiative, let's have an insight of the story.
In a bid to promote greener, non-polluting electric vehicles, the DYPIU International University, Akurdi, Pune has launched a unique program in collaboration with Tata Motors. DYPIU has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Tata Motors earlier last year, which was renewed on 17 February 2023 for providing high-quality B.Tech and M.Tech programs in electric vehicles to the employees of Tata Motors. The MOU was signed in the presence of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Prabhat Ranjan and Mr. Manoj Yadav from Tata Motors. On 19 February, the DY campus was flanked by enthusiastic, energetic and vibrant youth in large numbers to take admission into the B.Tech and M.Tech programs. This records the highest number of admissions in a day in the history of DYPIU admissions, as over 115 applicants got registered. Speaking on the occasion, Professor Prabhat Ranjan, Vice Chancellor of DYPIU, said, "With technology transformation happening across the country, every industry has to make a quick transition to the new technologies, or else they would be left out." Professor Ranjan further said that Tata Motors has taken this welcome step of upskilling their employees with the help of DYPIU, and this partnership would reach new heights in the coming years. A collaborative approach between the industry and academia is essential for catalyzing technological advancement and development while creating new job opportunities and hence a skilled workforce. This is Kankshit Sarkar reporting from DYPIU for Students' Time.
The rise of sustainable and organic clothing represents modern-day buyers' adoption of economic conscious fashion templates. Keeping in view the demand for sustainable clothing, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged citizens of the country to make sustainable clothing a deliberate choice. Here goes the report in detail.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi wore a blue vest made of recycled plastic bottle in Parliament. By doing so, he was trying to make sustainable clothing a conscious choice that need to be made in everyday life to save the environment. Sustainable clothing refers to garments that are made using eco-friendly and socially responsible practices throughout the entire life cycle, from design and production to distribution and disposal. As per sources globally, the fashion industry causes 10% of total carbon emission and is big pollutant. Its yield of harmful greenhouse gases is projected to grow more than 50% by 2030. According to the National Climate Change Journal 2018, textile manufacturing is one of the most polluting sectors of the economy, emitting 1.2 billion tons of greenhouse gases. Many people in India are not aware of the benefits of sustainable clothing, including the environmental and social impact. This lack of awareness makes it difficult for sustainable clothing to gain traction in the Indian market. The endorsement of sustainable clothing by popular Bollywood and sports celebrity can help increase awareness and incentivize sustainable clothing among common man. Promoting sustainable clothing can help educate consumers about the impact of their choices on the environment and society. This can help raise awareness and encourage more people to make deliberate choice when it's come to fashion. This is Swechha Singh from DY Patil International University reporting for Students' Time.
The missile man of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, once dreamed of providing equal education opportunities to all. To realize the dream of Dr. Kalam, 150 satellites made by students were launched in Tamil Nadu under Kalam Mission.
India's first hybrid-sounding rocket by private players was launched from Pattipulam village, Tamil Nadu. The mission was launched by the Martin Foundation in collaboration with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam International Foundation and Space Zone India. The organizations mentioned that 5,000 students were involved in the project. The selected students designed and constructed a student satellite launch vehicle and 150 picosatellites research experiment cubes that contained different payloads. The picosatellites are satellites at a mass below 1 kg, implemented by use of modern miniaturization techniques. The reusable rocket was made by the selected top 100 students, while the rest made the satellites. The rocket can be used for research in weather, atmospheric conditions, and radiations. This is Ishita Bansali reporting from DY Patil International University for Students' Time.
And now, let's have a look at the exclusive interview of founder of Edify Online, Anil P. Agrawal.
Everyone has the right to be enlightened. It just takes the right teacher. This is the mission of an organization, Edify Online, that is serving the largest group of Edify professionals in the world. Founded by Anil P. Agrawal, an engineering graduate from the University of California, Berkeley, and an MBA graduate from the University of Golden Gate, San Francisco, Edify Online is helping students enrolled in higher education to reach significant milestones. In an exclusive interview with Students' Time, Anil Agrawal said, "Our vision is to get all this knowledge collected anywhere, anyone to take. There are no limitations." Let us hear more about this from Amanda Vass of DYPIU.
And today we have on board a renowned personality, Sir Anil P. Agrawal. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
We are so glad to have you on board. So starting off with, sir, tell us something about your vision, mission and action of Edify Online.
So Edify Online was a vision started back in 2015 before COVID. We didn't even know there was anything like COVID that will ever happen. And the idea was that knowledge should not be restrained by any geographical boundaries. And my first conversation was with MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in California, in the United States. And the vision was that why do we have to limit students learning from only local professors? They can be anywhere from in the world. The right teacher could live in a small village, could be in a big city, could be anywhere. It could be anywhere regionally or geographically. It took us almost 4 years to COVID before people realized that it is time perhaps to go beyond those boundaries. So our vision is to get all this knowledge collected anywhere for anyone to take. There is no limitation. And it works very well for India. For example, in India, there are a lot of universities in small rural areas where they don't either have the faculty, don't have the budget. Mm-hmm. What we're saying is you don't have to have a physical faculty on your campus when you can actually access them from anywhere in the world. It can be within India, but can be from the United States, UK. For example, we have one of the customer where we're doing 100 courses for their students every semester. And we have professors coming from United States to Canada, to UK, to Australia, to Turkey, to a different part of the world. And I think our vision is that Edify Online should enable that process around the world, including India.
Well, you have been an engineering graduate and you have done your MBA as well, and now you're an entrepreneur. So what is the one project that you have worked for and you're so passionate about it? Whether it is Edify Online, I mean, that is something that you are consistently pursuing, but what is something that you have done in your entire life that, something that brings a smile to your face?
So that's an excellent question, but it's very fully loaded.
Okay.
I have failed everywhere.
I see.
So I have been bankrupt 3 times in my life.
All right.
So what happens in learning, there are 2 ways to learn. One is that you learn and time is aligned with you and luck comes with you and you're successful.
True.
Generally, people around the world think that if you're successful without trouble, you are you have learned a lot. But in reality, and if you have not failed, you have not learned, right? So problem with me was that I failed. Perhaps it was my nature of being stubborn. I did something else again.
Right.
I did very well, then failed. Then we did something else, and then failed again. So I guess the message I have is you really never fail because your learning continues, right?
Right.
You learn more when you have failed.
Right.
Once you fail, my experience is that if you go back and say, well, I failed, I must be really bad, or a lot of things didn't go right, and if you go as a victim blaming others, then you have actually failed. Another way of mind is that when you fail, you start to analyze, what is it I should have done differently?
Right.
Right? And had I done it differently, would I have been okay? Or how would I do something else differently? Now, it took me 3 times, by the way. But failing should not be an option.
Right.
Right? But just because you failed, you will fail if you don't use the option of continue to go. And that's the message for me to a lot of the people I meet around the world and students, that you don't fail, just keep trying.
What advice would you give to the students of this university to forge ahead and cement themselves in the scientific field?
So my question back to you will be, how are you differentiating your students for your university? How do you define your university to be different than any other university?
Oh, well, I feel that the students of my university, while all the other colleges may be reputed, but I feel that the professors and the vice-chancellor have been putting in so much effort to bring in guides from, different areas. So I think we would have that edge in terms of, learning from experience. I think that is what I mean to, defer.
Okay. So it's the vision of your institution
Absolutely.
that is trying to go beyond the brick and mortar traditional university model. Okay, very good. And by the way, that is an excellent point. All universities that still want to remain in the traditional business model will fail. It is a global phenomenon. In the United States, the predictions are by the 2030, or no later than 2035, 40% of the universities will fail.
I see.
The reason they will fail, they are not willing to go beyond the barriers of the old traditional way.
All right.
Today's students are smarter than I was 40 years ago. And I was damn smart than my grandfather was. Don't ask me why that gene evolution makes you different. So today's students are very smart. They're looking for something beyond something that we can't offer a lot of times. So hopefully automation, your beyond the boundary education, automation technologies, interface, updates, regular updates. Students don't really want to read a book that was written 50 years ago because even the references are 50 years ago. They're looking for references that are today. And for right reason, because what you think was successful a year ago is probably not successful today, right? I think I had a meeting before I came here with Dr. Ranjan. He is a visionary. He's into technology beyond boundaries.
Right.
And I think that is needed for any institution.
Absolutely.
So going back to your students, I think students should feel very lucky if their leadership has a vision beyond bricks and mortar. And I think that'll be the successful point for them. And they should feel that way. One thing I learned from him, that he allows people to share their thoughts. So that should be another thing. And I'll speak to him again. If a student has an idea, so in our literature, in our mythology says, if you can think something, I mean, it can happen. It just hasn't happened yet. Otherwise, you won't be able to think, right? So if you can understand that, then if a student is saying something, that thought process did not just come in without a reason. Just because you don't understand doesn't mean it can't happen.
Right.
And I see that Dr. Ranjan could actually fulfill a lot of that vision.
Absolutely. All right. So that is the end of our interview. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this session. And we are so grateful to have your insightful advice.
All right, well, pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode of Students Time. Do tell us, how do you like our program? You can also send your feedback and suggestions on our email ID. Our email ID is studentstime@dypiu.ac.in. We will be back with fresh news stories again next week. Till then, stay tuned and think scientifically.